Hooray! Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Oh, there I am. Live. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm getting myself set up here for the couple of things. I was cracking myself up earlier because I was, hey Courtney, hey, thanks for coming again today. I was trying to exit out of something on my screen and I was like, why is it not working? I can't hit the X, it's not exiting. And I realized that I was watching a video of somebody's screen recording and I was trying to hit like the X of their screen recording, like the X in the top corner. And it was their screen recording and it was not the real X. And so I'm like, why does it just keep playing and pausing? It's not actually Xing. So I was cracking myself up earlier, just before this, trying to get everything ready. Okay, so I think I have this. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? How are your socks? How are your socks going on day 3? I need to put fishing around for my stitch markers here. This is the sock that I started yesterday, and I am actually a good way, I'm probably pretty close to the heel. I haven't counted my rounds yet, but I've been kind of moving my stitch markers every day, so I think I'll put this one in there, the beaded one from For Hooks for Loves, because it's just kind of fun to see like daily progress. And I have several shark stitch markers, so I need to grab my light bulb stitch markers and put them in here so I can actually count the rounds and see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yeah. So I'm like 10 rounds away from the heel of this sock, so I want to finish that up today. I'm going to be using this for my Fish Lips Kiss heel class tomorrow. But how are you? We're gonna get into the toe up tutorial here in just a few minutes. But I thought we'd start out chatting, seeing how everyone's doing. Good morning, good morning. Hey Vita. Good morning from Alabama, from Georgia, from Tennessee. Oh my gosh, we got like 3 states in the South here. I love it. Hey Karen. I've never done toe up, but maybe I'll try my Shark Week sock partner toe up. Yeah, that's a fun idea. You can totally do that and make your socks match. From Brunei, oh wow. Good morning from Arizona. Socks are going well. I'm at the gusset decreases. Wonderful. I got the entire leg of number 1. Maybe I'll get leg number 2 at the movies today. What movie are you going to see? That's exciting. 1 heel complete, making 2 at a time toe up. First Fish Lips Kiss heel went well. Had to frog it once, but not too bad. Oh yeah, I had to frog my first one too, so that is not too bad, you're right. Buenos dias. Hi Alize. My socks are going so fast, I'm already at the foot. I've never knit socks so fast. Oh yay, that is so good to hear. Finished my first Rose City roller yesterday and cast on the second this morning. Nice. I need to check on Ravelry because I know there's some finished socks in there now. You guys are all so fast. Oops, I have a knot. I have a knot. Hold on. I gotta get this out. I always get these little knots from winding. There we go. Okay. Finished my first Sock Week sock yesterday, nearly done with my second. Whoa, Ashley, you're moving so fast. After several restarts on day 1, I'm halfway through the foot on the toe up. Hey, Alexa. Good morning, Melinda. Whoops, it just skipped. I didn't manage to start the socks on the first day. I'm thinking of starting tomorrow. Just cake up the yarn I wanted to use. Is it too late? No, it's not too late. As long as you started like Sunday or later, that's totally fine. Totally fine. I'm about 3/4 of the way through my slip stitch heel. Perfect. I'm hoping to learn how to do toe up and then doing it later this week. Great, I'm hoping I can help today with this tutorial. Hi from Northern Ireland, hi. I was doing so well when I started the toe last night. I am so off. Oh no. Frogging back to where the toe starts and hoping to do better today. Good morning, good morning. Up early here in Nevada, it is early there. Morning from Florida, halfway up, the foot of toe up, a little slow. You're good. Love the video, thank you. I don't usually do toe up because I like 9-inch circulars. That's fair. I've never done toe up. Think I'll begin tomorrow. Awesome. Good morning from St. Louis. Good morning from Maryland on my second sock. Hi from North Carolina. Just finished the decreases on my gusset this morning. Yay. Yeah, I know when the knots happen. Yeah, sometimes they just like pull, but sometimes I have to do a little more. They're not like a true knot. It's just like a tangle. Good morning. Good morning. I love that song. I ripped out and cast it on the way you taught us yesterday. Much better. My first sock ever. Wonderful. Yeah, such an easy trick just to make that cast on a lot looser. Good morning from Seattle. Are you team toe up or team cuff down? I don't know if you're just asking me, but let's ask everybody. Are you team toe up or team cuff down? If you're here today and you're not doing a toe up sock, it's totally fine. We're going to be chatting too, so stick around. It's going to be fun. I vary. It just kind of depends on my mood. I've been team cuff down a lot lately, especially because I like to use self-striping yarn, and that seems to do a little better. But I can do either. I like both for different reasons. Good morning, Holly Beth. Finishing my heel and hoping to get most of the foot done today. Wonderful. Hi, I've never made socks. Hi from mid-Missouri. How's the weather in New York? So I can't see the top part of the buildings right now. It was super cloudy when I woke up, like so overcast you couldn't see hardly anything. But now the clouds are lifting up a little bit. It's not supposed to rain today, although it was kind of spitting a little bit when I took Toaster out this morning, but very, very slightly, like not even a sprinkle, just spitting. All right, I have to take my sweatshirt off. I'm getting hot now that the air is off. I have my crop shirt on. I never thought I would wear a cropped sweatshirt so much, and I've got a tank top on today, even though it's like pretty cool outside. It's maybe 70, but I really like this color from the tank top, and I didn't see it in the shirts, so I got the tank top. So there we go. So you can see my tank top. All right. Oh, hey, Chantal. I was watching the live from 2 days ago and I saw you were live now, so here I am. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're doing lots of stuff this week. Tomorrow, there will not be a live video, but Thursday, there'll be another one. Thursday will be a podcast, so it'll be a little different. Let's see. Both team cuff down on double pointed needles, team cuff down only because I've never done toe up. Finished one sock this morning. Let's see if I can do sock 2 now that I'm back to work. Yes, I know. Sometimes that can be a challenge. Cuff down for now, just learning. That's a great way to learn. I think for me, that's the best way to start. Watching while at the salon. Ooh, can't miss watching. You're getting your hair done? I need to find a place here to get my hair done. I've noticed how dark it's getting. My blonde is not natural anymore. It was when I was little, but I'm like, I like being blonder, so I think I'm gonna have to find a place to go and get more blonde again, because I really like it. Team cuff down mostly, but I have done toe up. Never tried toe up because I love cuff down. One sock done, second at the toe decreases. Wow. Can't keep track of decreases while watching, so winding yarn for my next pair. That's fair. Team cuff down, both. Whoa, it skipped again, sorry. Hold on. Toe up, cuff down, excited to learn toe up. Was team toe up for a long time, finally became team either. So I could do any pattern I liked. That is great. That's kind of like where I would like to get people to today, if you're like only a cuff down sock knitter, is, when you're knitting, you should do whatever is your favorite, like whatever you love to do, but then you don't want it to be a barrier to not be able to do a pattern you love. So it's like, okay, maybe I prefer cuff down most of the time, but if I find a toe up pattern, it's not going to stop me. So that's exactly why I like to know multiple techniques, not because I need to use them all the time, but just so that I can if I want to. You want rain. We're in another heat wave, so it's been 117 to 118 the past 2 days. Shoo. Yeah, I know I'm gonna eat my words in the winter, but I like the milder weather here in New York. I really do. Not as hot as Texas. Team cuff down, I was taught to knit socks toe up magic loop, but I found I like 9-inch circulars, and cuff down's my favorite method. Hello again. I was looking forward to this live from yesterday as I'll be listening. Yay! Yeah, is anyone joining in from work? It's nice just to listen sometimes while you do, your routine stuff and have some company. I'm wearing my Sock Week tee. I love it. Yay, I'm so glad you like it. I always do cuff down, but I'd like to try toe up because I'm never really sure how much leg I want. Yeah, that's another good reason to use a toe up sock. So besides just having another technique under your belt, some arguments for the toe up sock, some reasons why it can be helpful and why I choose it sometimes. One, if you are, have a smaller amount of yarn than 100 grams and you're not sure how long you can make your leg. If you start at the toe, then you can work your foot, both feet, do it both on both socks or split your yarn in half. And then you can make your leg like as long as you want until you run out of yarn. It's much easier to figure it out this way, unless you're somebody who has weighed your yarn for the foot before and you know exactly how much you need to use, which is not a bad idea. I just thought about that. But anyway, that's one reason to use toe up. If you have a special yarn or a smaller than 100 gram skein, it's really nice to just go on the leg. Some people knit toe up socks because they don't like doing the Kitchener stitch on the toe, which you, for the most part, need to do on a cuff down sock. I've heard somebody say that they don't like any of the stretchy cast-ons, and so that's why they like to do toe up, because they'd rather do a stretchy bind off at the cuff. There's lots of reasons. And sometimes the pattern just looks better one way or the other, depending on what the pattern is. So there you go. There's a few reasons, and then just preference if you like how the toe up sock begins. It's kind of nice because it's like you get on a toe up sock, once you're past the heel, it's like smooth sailing, right? You don't have to change your stitch count. You're just knitting probably plain stockinette or a plain pattern and then ribbing. So that can be really nice for toe up socks. And I also heard somebody say, one of the women in one of my shivers yesterday, she likes to do 2 at a time socks. And she said, I think she said she'll do 2 at a time magic loop for toe up because it's just easier. And then like 2 at a time, 2 circulars for cuff down. So I don't know. Lots of different things. It's all about preference. There's no wrong or right when it comes to cuff down and toe up. Okay. I always do cuff down, but I'd like to try toe up. Oh, I already read that one because I'm never sure of how much leg I want. Yes, good point. Team cuff down, but I'm just here to cheer you all on because I'm knitting a sweater for my father-in-law. That's totally fine. Please come and join us, even if you're not knitting socks. Even if you're like, I hate knitting socks or crocheting socks. We still want to hang out. Okay, hi from Ontario. Hello. I'm so tempted to start another pair of socks. I just have so many projects going already and just finished sock number 3 for summer sock camp. Wonderful. Well, if you feel like you have too much going on, no pressure, do what you need to do. I love both cuff down and toe up. I will try top down. It's 10:15 p.m. here in Brunei. Thanks for joining us so late. Team cuff down, but I do enjoy toe up. Good morning again. I'm team cuff down, but I know how to do toe up. Team toe up on double pointed needles. Where does one get a Sock Week tee? You can get that in my Spreadshirt shop. Once this video is over, I'm going to go back and add all the links, but it's possible if you look underneath the video, like if you're on a web browser, you should see like little pictures of my products. And so if you click on those, it'll take you to the shop. And those are only going to be up through the end of Sock Week. So grab one now so that you don't miss out. Okay. Oh no, I must not plug my computer in last night. Why is it dying? Well, it's not dying, but I'm going to keep an eye on that because that would be terrible if it just turned off. Let's see. Both, if I love the pattern, I knit it. Nice. Binding off your toe up socks. Woohoo. I just watched a video on an anatomical toe version shaped asymmetrically. Looked very interesting. Not brave enough for a sock yet, but I'm getting braver while watching you. Thank you. I have thought about doing those anatomical toes where, everyone's foot is different, and generally like having just like a square or round toe works, but the anatomical ones will go like with your foot either way. And I've thought about trying that, but there's something so nice about having just simple do both socks the same. So it just depends. We're always tweaking our recipes as sock knitters. Just discovered toe up through your videos after a long struggle with cuff down. Oh, good. I like a heel flap and gusset, so cuff down always. That makes sense. I will do cuff down too, but I just have to think about it more, whereas toe up, I can just knit. Yes. Was here for cuff down yesterday and here for toe up today. I definitely want to learn both. Awesome. Team cuff down, but not opposed to toe up. You're at work. Nice. Listening at work. Could you link the Sock Week merch? Yeah, actually, I can just do that right now. But I will make sure to have it in this video if you're watching back later. Spreadshirt. Yeah, in order to go to the shop right now, I guess because it's so new, it's not like Googleable, if that's a word. Like, even if I Google it myself and Google like Knitty Natty or Love and Stitches Spreadshirt, it doesn't, I'm gonna pin. Okay, so the link is in the chat right now. It doesn't come up. You have to like just find it through my website or through YouTube or my Instagram homepage. For some reason, it's just like silly and not Googleable. I always have knitting podcast playing while at work. Nice. I just put on a movie for the kids so I can enjoy this. Ah, good idea, Lindsay. Working from home today so I can tune in. Having my second cup of coffee and my Sock Week mug. Yay. I'm drinking coffee too. I'm still on my first. But my second one is staying warm in the carafe. Good morning from Southern Hot California. Good morning from Canada. Hi from Argentina. Hello. I hated Kitchener, but your tutorial made it easier. I'm less scared of cuff down now. Good. We're gonna cover Kitchener live on Friday morning. I'm gonna do it live. I like toe up because I can get the foot done when I'm motivated and then make a short cuff when I'm bored. Totally. Hi from England, I made it. Hey Emma, welcome. Toe up is excellent if your men have big feet. True, because again, if you're having want to see how much yarn you're gonna have left for the leg, it's great to do that. It's so fun to finally be doing this full time. I wanted to do my hobby full time, but I can't because my husband is not working. Not sure how it's going to turn out if I suddenly stop working. Hey, it is a risk. It is a risk, but keep on pushing, keep on working hard. It will be worth it. You can get there. I'm gonna catch up here on comments. I'm getting close and then we'll go into the tutorial. Let's see. I've been practicing over and over with making socks, so I have been frogging a lot, which is fine because I have to learn somehow, for sure. I'm looking forward to your information. Thanks for your time. Oh, thank you. Yep, it's definitely a process, so it's good that you have that mindset to not get frustrated and just keep practicing. It's all practice. I am reading this book called Atomic Habits, and it is honestly pretty life-changing. There's a lot of super good stuff in there, and the chapter I was reading this morning was about practice. And how many of you have read that book or heard of what's the book called? It's Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about like 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in something. This Atomic Habits book made me think of this because basically the chapter was saying like, hey, you just need to do something a certain number of times. It's not necessarily about like how many weeks it takes to build a habit, or if you're like trying to learn to knit, it's not about time as far as weeks and days. It's about the number of times that you do something. So just keep doing it, just keep practicing it. And the sample they gave was that there was a photography class and half of the class was assigned to just take as many pictures as they could. They would be graded on the quantity of pictures that they took. Like 100 pictures that they turned in would be an A, so on. And the other half of the class was assigned to only focus on quality of pictures. They would be turning in one quality photo at the end of the semester. And guess whose was better? The people who had taken the quantity of photos, because as they took tons and tons and tons and tons of photos, they got better at taking photos. They learned stuff more because they were just practicing the whole time and taking risks. But the people who were focusing on quality were spending a lot more time theorizing, planning, and not actually doing. I thought that was really interesting. That's what I learned today already. So anyway, it's good that you have that method of just going for it. All right, taking a break from work to knit a bit and watch this podcast. I learned cuff down originally, but also eventually learned toe up, just so I know what I'm doing. Very good. Let's see. I've never knitted socks before, but the toe seems like the most intimidating part to me, so I'd rather get the hard part done first. That's a good idea for sure. And I will say though, if you're trying the toe and it's like still too much, it's okay to start a cuff down sock, because sometimes just getting into it is good too. I always work toe up, usually with DK. I'm going to try fingering weight, although I like the look of the cuff on, cuff down. Fair. Can't stay long, wanted to pop in and say hi. Hi! Hi from Ontario, started my very first pair of socks. Woohoo! I have not made a pair of socks at all. I've had a go. What would you suggest to start off with, toe up or cuff down? I would start off with cuff down because there's less of a learning curve to start. And then you can just get going. And then, most of the cuff and the leg of a sock is kind of like knitting a tiny hat. So if you've knit in the round before, maybe you haven't knit on circular needles or double points, you can learn that first and then go into the more sock techniques with the heel and the toe and everything like that. All right. What heel are you doing on both socks? I am going to be doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is a short row heel that is completely like mirrored imaged. It works for toe up and cuff down and looks the same. That's why I like it so much. It's quick. Once you learn it, it's easy. You can apply it to any stitch count, and it works great for both methods. So for any socks that I make, even if they don't have a Fish Lips Kiss heel, I sub it in. That's my favorite. I've heard of the 10,000 Hours book. It's called Outliers. Thank you. Outliers, such a good book. We'll have to rewatch later getting trees cut down and need to keep an eye on the rugrats. Yes, don't let them go outside. That sounds dangerous. Hello from Las Vegas. I'm listening at work. Yay. Hey from Indiana. Good morning. Hey, Alexa. I'm doing toe up 2 at a time when I'm not sure if I have enough yarn in my main color. That way I can make sure the foot part at least fits. Exactly. My first toe up sock was Natalie's tutorial. The tutorial was perfect. Oh, thank you. So I'm going to be showing how to do toe up socks today, but I already have a tutorial filmed on this that is like going to be more concise than this one, because today I'll show you something, I'll chat, I'll answer questions. So please feel free to ask questions today. It's going to be more chat and teach than just teach. So just know if you need to go back and watch something, this is going to be up after the live, but I do have the other tutorial as well. Okay, let's flip around. Let's get into teaching mode. Oh, you know what I totally forgot to do? Uh-oh. I forgot to take my size 2 needles off of here. Okay, so let me show y'all something. Toaster's here. He did not leave this spot all day yesterday. You saw him yesterday morning when I put that t-shirt on him. He wore it all day, took it off this morning. He's funny. Okay, so let me show you something here. This is my experience with different sock yarn bases. Not all of them. So, okay, I've got my 3 sock week yarns. Let me grab the 3rd. All right, 3 sock week yarns right here. So this is Suburban Stitcher. It's a 75-25. This is Moonglow Yarn Company. It's an 80-20. And this is Tia's Terrific Threads, which is also an 80-20. But they are different, okay? So this one is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. And with this yarn, I use a US 1 2.25 millimeter. This is my favorite sock base to use, a 75-25. This one is 80% merino wool and 20% nylon, and it is so this is 4 plies of yarn. It has like a smooth look to it, and if you untwist it, this is going to be really hard to show. If you untwist it, you can see, well, you might not be able to see on camera, but you can do this at home. There are 4 individual strands, the plies, that make up this yarn. This one has, I believe, 2. Let's untwist it and see. 2 much fluffier strands. Yeah, there's 2 in there. Okay, so this ends up being a little thicker, for me at least, but so I find that to be true for most, like 75-25, I can do a size 1. 80-20, I typically go up to a size 2 needle and I cast on fewer stitches. And then, but this is this is something I'm experimenting with, because this one is also an 80-20, so same as this, but it's actually a little thinner and more comparable to this one. For some reason, I don't know, I haven't had that experience before, so it's pretty similar to that one. And then this 80-20 is pretty typical of other 80-20s that I have worked with. And I know it's a little hard to tell on camera, but when you have these yarns in person, you can kind of just feel it almost. Computer, what are you doing? Hold on, sorry, I have to plug my computer in because it must have not charged. 1 second. One second to charge. Okay, are we plugged in? Yes. Okay, it's not gonna just suddenly end. So there we go. Okay, anyway, so that's my experience with different bases. So I'm gonna use this gray yarn today to cast on the toe, and therefore I need my size 2 needles, which I forgot to take off of finish up my current project, because I only have so many size 2 needles. So I'm gonna have to take these off of here. Prepared, aren't we? Yes, Natalie, we're super prepared. Okay, so I'm gonna do something dangerous and just pull these off of here. Yes. I'm back, don't worry. I just had to go grab something. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to pull this off of here. Oopsie, it'll be fine. I'll get it all back. Don't be afraid, but watch this. Okay, it'll be okay. It will all be fine. All right, now we're ready. Now we're ready. I have a lot of sock whips going. A lot of sock whips. Next week is gonna be all about like finishing the sock whips, finishing the partners and everything like that. Okay, so let's get started with casting on the toe. How about that? So the method that I'm gonna show today is called Judy's Magic Cast On. It is a way to cast on, well, I've only used it on the toe of a sock. I'm not sure, there's probably other uses for it, but you're basically gonna cast on stitches to 2 needles, and then we'll immediately start knitting in the round. So we're starting at the toe of our sock, and when we are casting on the toe, you kind of have to think about your total stitch count that you want to get to. So for me, I want to get to 60 total stitches. No, actually I'm not going to do 60 because I am using size 2. So hang on, I have to look at my own pattern here. I am going to be doing my Quickie Socks, which is a blog post that I wrote in 2018. So let me put that here. My Quickie Socks is what I'm going to be doing today. And so this is just more about the number of stitches and stuff. So I am going to be casting on, let me see, do I want to do 12 and increase to 48, I think? Yes. Okay, so basically when you start a toe-up sock, you're going to want to cast on about half of your total stitch count. So if your total stitch count is going to be, sorry, now I'm trying to get back to my thing. There we go. If your total stitch count is going to be 60, you would want to cast on about half. But here's the thing. You want to make sure that the number you put on each needle is an even number. So for 60 stitches, you would not want to start with 30, which would be 15 and 15. You would need to either start with 28, because that would give you an even number, 14, 14, or you'd want to start with 32, even number, 16, 16. I know that's a lot, but like your pattern should probably tell you how many to start with. So go off of that. So I'm going to be going to 48 total stitches for my foot. Again, I'm using a thicker yarn and thicker needles. So this is going to be plenty for me. And yes, it makes the socks go really, really fast. So I'm going to be doing 48 stitches and starting out with 24 because that's half. So I'll have 12 and 12. That was a lot of math for 10:30 in the morning. You said you wouldn't need more needles. I know, I actually grabbed my needle bag, but then I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna pull these off. There's a chance that I have one more set of size 2 needles, but I don't remember. These are Addy needles, that's why the cord is blue, but my preferred needle is Chigu red lace, which has a red cord. It's much, much better. Much, much better. Okay. I saw a couple questions. Catching you between meetings today. Awesome. We'll watch the replay tonight. Great. Hey, Deborah. So good to see you. How many stitches do you recommend casting on for a size 5 shoe? You probably don't need that many. So probably 60 or 56 if your foot is that small. I do toe up 2 at a time, but this time I did cables. When done with the socks, the leg part, she can't get her heel in the leg part. Should have went up a needle size. Hope this makes sense. Can't get her heel. Oh, okay. Yes. When you have cables, if you do your normal stitch count, sometimes that's not enough, which I have realized with this. So, okay. I'm about to use the same size needle. This I used a 2, right? This I'm going to use a 2. 48 stitches. 56 stitches. That's a big difference. And that's because of the cables. It pulls everything in and makes it a lot smaller. So yeah, that's something that I've had to learn, and honestly, I'll probably still have to learn it again because I keep forgetting. But yeah, having cables, certain patterns definitely draw things in. I almost got the same Moonglow Yarn Co. Might still get it, but ended up with Sharks in the Water from Yarn O'Clock. Yes. It's so pretty. I really like the camera setup that you're using. Thank you so much. On my first ever sock, I thought the Judy's Magic Cast On was just a suggestion, and I did a German twisted cast on. The Magic Cast On is very important. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Local yarn store is about 40 minutes from me, has 75% off a lot of yarn, and I'm tempted, but I don't need yarn. Oh, I know. Maybe you can pair it with like a visit, like if they're doing a knit night or something. Maybe treat yourself without looking through your stash. How do you determine stitches for a DK weight sock for a size 8? Oh, I am not familiar with that. I don't use DK weight yarn for socks, but I bet you can find some patterns on Ravelry, or if anyone can help Denise out, that would be great. I'm only familiar with like fingering weight. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna take my attention off the comments for a few minutes to share this, okay? Let's cast on. All right, Judy's Magic Cast On. I'm only casting on 24 stitches, 12 each needle, because we're starting at the small point of the toe and then we're gonna go out, okay? So I don't need a ton of yarn. Yesterday I showed how I measure for the cast on for a cuff because you need a lot more yarn for it. So when I measure, wait, why am I pulling from the outside? What? I'm gonna pull from the inside. What am I doing? Okay. Pulling from the inside here. All right, when I measure for the toe, I usually just pinch in my finger and I measure to my elbow, and that's like plenty. Or I'm sorry, no, I measure to my, do I measure to my arm or my elbow? It's actually been a little while since I've done toe up socks. Let's try. I think I just measure to my elbow. I think that will be enough. Well, we'll try it, and if not, we'll go to the shoulder. How about that? You can try it with me. Okay, Let me go back to my teaching mode here. All right, let's cast on. So this is a little different than the cuff down, of course, because we're doing toe up. So we're going to start with our 2 needles partnered up together here. And we're going to start with our top needle. This is the one that's on the top. It's the one that's furthest away from my, my chest here. So we're going to start with that one. And we're going to add 1 stitch to the top needle, 1 to the bottom, 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom, just back, forth, okay? So the way I like to start this out, I've got my tail yarn hanging here in the front. I've got my yarn from the ball in the back, and I just kind of have it looped on my finger where I measured out. I'm just going to loop it right here on the back needle. It's very shiny today. Okay, I'm just going to loop it, and then I'm going to give it a twist, actually. There we go. I'm going to give it a twist so that I can have my tail yarn in the front, my ball, my yarn from the ball in the back, okay? So I've put it on the back needle and I've given it a twist. All right, and then I'm going to hold it just like long tail cast on, where I have used my 3 fingers to pinch and use my pointer and my thumb to separate. All right, so we've got a twisted stitch here. You can also do a slip knot if that was, you know, not your favorite thing. You can also do a slip knot here, but we've got 1 stitch on the top needle and no stitches on the bottom needle, okay? So now once you're set up, we have to think opposites attract. Always opposites attract. We've got a top needle, we've got a top piece of yarn, we've got a bottom needle, we've got a bottom piece of yarn. Opposites attract. Our bottom needle is always going to go to our top strand of yarn, our top needle always goes to the bottom. Since we've already got a stitch here on the top, we're going to do the bottom needle and we're going to go to the top yarn. Opposites attract. Bottom needle comes up to the top yarn, scoops over the top, and you let the yarn fall through in between the needles. Okay? So now I've got a stitch on the top, a stitch on the bottom. And now we're going to work the top needle. Opposites attract. Top needle goes to the bottom yarn. So swing down all the way underneath that bottom strand and then let it fall in between the needles there. Okay? 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. It's time to do the bottom. Opposites attract. Bottom needle comes up over the top, grabs that top strand of yarn, lets it fall in between the needles. Okay? I'm even, I'm 2-2, so now I need to work the top. Opposites attract, swing down with the top needle, grab the bottom yarn, let it fall in between. Now the bottom needle, opposites attract, bottom needle swings up, grabs the top yarn, lets it fall in between. Okay? And then we keep working this back and forth. So top needle, down, grab that stitch, bottom needle up, grab that one, down and up. And I'm going to do this until I have 12 on each needle or 24. This is because I'm using a larger needle and a larger yarn. Normally I would start with 14 today, or I'm sorry, 28 or 14 on each needle. Today I'm going to do 12. And I measured up to my elbow and it seems like that probably is enough. Let's see, 5, 10, oh, too many. I've got 13. So I'm just going to let these last 2 drop off. All right, plenty of tail. So measure to your elbow, that should be fine. All right, let me double check that I've got 12 on each needle. 5, 10, 12, 5, 10, 12. 24 total stitches, okay? So what I'm gonna do now, I don't wanna let go of this, like, how I was holding it. Focus. Because my last stitch right here is not secure. Not yet, not until I knit this first row. So hold tight, we're gonna keep going. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip my needles completely over so that they're pointing to the left. And look at this, this is pretty cool. It's almost like we've created a row of knitting in here. Like it almost looks like a row of like purl stitches. It's really neat. This Judy's Magic cast on. All right, so we flipped things over and now I need to secure this last stitch here.
This last one is all loosey-goosey. It needs to be secured. The way that I do that is I'm going to take my tail yarn and flip it over the back. And so that way, when I pull my working yarn up, these two things twist. I know this is probably really, there we go. These are going to twist. So I've just taken my tail yarn over the back. It makes these two guys twist. And I'm just going to hold my tail yarn in the back here so that my working yarn gets twisted around it. It catches it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start knitting the first round because if I let go, I will lose that stitch. All right, so now I'm going to work the first round. I'm going to pull out my back needle to start working magic loop. Again, this first little stitch here is not really secure until I start to knit it. So I'm going to go ahead and just knit this first needle. Okay? Just double check that all that your tail yarn and your working yarn are twisting around each other to secure that first stitch. Once you knit that first stitch, you're good. Just keep knitting. I'm going to let go of my tail now because it's all secured. And on this first needle, well, that's really blurry, Natalie. Let's let that focus. Hello. On this first needle, you're just going to knit regularly. You don't need to do anything special. But on the second needle, we are going to do something different, okay? So this cast on is a little finicky. When you first do it, it might take a couple tries, but since it's such a short one, just, practice it a few times before you get started. And go straight into knitting the first round. Don't set it down, or else you'll lose your stitches. But this is why I suggest starting, if you're a new sock knitter, to start with cuff down. But you don't have to. If you want to get this out of the way, get it out of the way. All right, let's do the second needle. I've just finished the first needle. I'm going to flip around so I can do my second needle. And then on this needle, I am going to have to do something special only on the first round because all of these stitches on the second needle are open and they need to be knit through the back loop in order to orient them the right way, except for the first stitch. The first stitch here, somehow that first stitch, I think it's because it's one of the first we cast on, is pretty twisty, so I just knit it normal, like regular, through the front, but the rest of the stitches on this needle, they are open. They are untwisted, meaning they are not going the right way. So we're going to knit all the rest of the stitches on the second needle through the back loop, just on the first round to correct them. And if you're like, oh, I'm getting a little lost here, don't worry. I have a whole video where this is taught really concisely and really clearly, or you can come back and watch this one later. I promise you can do it. All right. Once we finish knitting this row, we have completed Judy's Magic Cast On. See? It's so cool. It's smooth, it's seamless, and this is what goes on the very tip of your toe in your socks, okay? So we're gonna come back to this in just a second and do the increases which create the toe box. But let me see what I missed here. All right. Back. Besides the technique, is there a big difference between Judy's Magic Cast On and the Turkish Cast On? You know what? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever tried the Turkish Cast On. Might be very similar. There's definitely more than one way. There's probably thousands of ways to do a toe up cast on, so I'm sure that one's fine. Do you ever knit on straight needles? I do not. I guess sometimes if I'm doing like double pointed needles flat, I will do that, but no, I don't even own any straight needles anymore. I don't find them as comfortable. Good morning, is size 2 a 2.75 millimeter? Yes, size 2 is a 2.75 millimeter. How do you determine how many stitches for a toe-up sock for a giant-footed teenager? His foot circumference is 10.5 inches. So you'll want to look at your stitch gauge and then subtract probably 1 to 1.5 inches for negative ease. I'm actually not 100% sure what the suggested negative ease is for a sock, at least 1 inch. So basically you don't want to make a 10.5 inch sock for somebody whose foot's 10.5 inches. You want to make it maybe 9.5 or 9 inches around so they have that negative ease. So if you I don't think I have my phone. I've lost, oh, it's in my pocket. So if you had wanted to make his sock 9 inches and you have a gauge of 8, let's say for example, 8 stitches per inch, 9 times 8 is 72. And that's actually a really good number for socks because it's divisible by 2, 4, and 8, which is like perfect. So yeah, maybe 72 if you have 8 stitches per inch. I use the Turkish cast on. Okay, there we go. Somebody else was asking. Carmen was asking about that. Great. I've never tried that one before. I made the string of hearts and they ended up fitting my 4-year-old granddaughter. Definitely need to go up in size was my first try at cables. Yeah, I was a little worried at first that my socks were going to be too big because I was doing 56 stitches and a size 2 needle. And once I got to the cables, nope, they're perfect. Okay, about size 8 DK weight socks. You want your circumference to be 8.25. Take your gauge in stitches per inch and multiply by 8.25 to get your cast on. Yeah, so depending on your foot circumference, you know, take your foot circumference and subtract, and then you can figure that out. If you go through the needles and up for the top needle stitches, you won't need to correct the twist when you knit the first row. Yeah, I have heard that you can do that. I've never tried that before, so probably not good for me to show when I haven't tried it before. But yeah, there is a way where you can do that cast on where that second row of stitches are not untwisted. So definitely you can do that. It doesn't bother me to knit them through the back loop, so I've just done it for so long, that's how I do it. Let's see. This is always the tricky bit. I always use your toe up tutorial. It's the best. Oh, thank you. I'm on a work break. We'll have to catch you on repeat. No worries. What is your preference, Natalie? Toe up or cuff down, and why? I've been doing a lot of cuff down lately just because it's like kind of convenient to start out. Like I can basically, after I do a cast on in a row, I don't have to think about it. Whereas toe up, I have to do some counting and stuff. So cuff down's easier for me to start on the go. And cuff down I like more for self-striping socks because you can control the stripe a little more. But I like to do both, so I like both. Now I'm tempted to try this cast on. Maybe I need to cast on my first toe up sock and put that sweater for my father-in-law on the side. You could just start it and then go back to the sweater. Toe up is my current favorite, but only because Kitchener makes me cringe. Is it possible to make a rounded toe in the toe up technique? Absolutely, Melissa. So what I'm about to show is how I like to increase for a square toe. If you want to do a rounded toe, basically instead of increasing every other round, you would increase every round for, let's say, 3-4 times, and then move to every other round. So you've got more frequent increases and then it slows down. Just the opposite of like a rounded toe on a cuff down where you decrease every other round and then you do every round. So just do the opposite. Increase every round for a few and then every other round. I did try to do your toe up with a DK yarn because that's what the pattern called for, but it was huge. I guess I need to go down in, sorry, this is hard to read. I guess I need to go down in something before size because it called for size 4 needles. Yeah, again, I'm not familiar with using DK weight yarn for socks. Hi, Kim. The Sockmatician on YouTube has a Judy's cast on that's easy to understand without having to switch back the stitches. Yeah, you can definitely do that other technique without having to switch back the stitches, but it's so easy to just knit through the back loop for half a round. Like for me, it's no big deal at all. Let's do the increases. How about that? And switch. Okay. Increases on toe up socks. There's probably a million ways to do them, but I like doing this very easy method, knit front and back. It's so simple. So we've already knit one whole round, right? We did that kind of like setup round where we knit the first half of the stitches, knit the other half through the back loop to correctly orient them. So we already have a knit round here. So now our next round is going to be an increase round. And I like to do a square toe where you increase every other round until you reach your foot stitches. So I've started out with half, 24, and I'm going to reach 48. That's because I'm using a thicker yarn and bigger needles. Normally I knit my socks at 60 stitches. So every other round, I'm going to do this increase. Each increase round gives you 4 more stitches and 2 on each needle. So this is why it's important to have an even number on each needle, which is why you shouldn't start with 30, because then you'd have 15 and 15. And if you increase, you'd get 15, then 17, then 19, and you'd always have an odd number. So that's why you want to make sure that your stitch count is even on both needles, okay? So here's the super easy increase round. We're going to knit 1. We're going to knit front and back. So that just means you knit into the stitch like normal, come through, but do not slide it off. Swing your needle around and knit into the back of the same stitch. And then you can pull it off. So knit 1, knit front and back, and then knit to the last 2 stitches. When I get to the last 2 stitches, I'm going to knit front and back, knit 1. So basically you're doing the knit front and back 1 stitch in on each side, knit front and back, knit 1. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to knit 1, knit 1, knit front and back. Again, you go into the stitch to knit it, but don't slide it off. Swing around and go into the back of the same stitch. That's your knit front and back. And then knit to the last 2 stitches on the needle. And then when you get to the last 2, you're going to knit front and back, knit 1. And that's your increase round. So the next round I will just do plain old knit. I will just knit around. I feel like the needle might be kind of loud when it goes smack. So I don't use a stitch marker when I'm using magic loop, because you really can't put a stitch marker at the end of the round. I mean, you could put like a what's it called, like a locking stitch marker here if you want, but I use my tail. My tail is right here, so that's telling me that this is the beginning of the round. So when I'm on the side with no tail, I'm in the middle of the round. Side with the tail, I'm at the beginning of the round. And I'm gonna do a plain knit round, and I know this because I can see that I've just done increases. Once that focuses a little better. You can look for your there's a little bar here that shows you the knit front and back right there. It's a little tiny thing. When that little bar is right up against the needle, that means you just did an increase round. Therefore, I need to do a plain knit round. And that's how I get away without having to count, write down, am I on an increase round or a plain round? I'm looking for those clues, looking for the tail, looking for the increase bar. So now you just knit a plain round all the way around, and then we'll repeat. We'll do an increase round, then a plain round, all the way until you have your total number of stitches for the foot, okay? So I'm gonna be knitting the palette socks, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. Color palette socks is what they're called. But I'm making some changes. So I'm pretty sure the toe on the color palette socks is like an umbrella toe. It's definitely different than this, but this is my favorite way to do a toe, at least right now. Who knows, it might change. But I really like this method. It's very easy. It's very easy for me, I should say, because I've done it a lot of times. Probably whatever you've learned is what's very easy for you. And after I do the gray, I'm going to be adding in more colors. And so I'm really excited about that, but I'm kind of modifying things because the color palette pattern is a cuff down pattern. And I also want to, because I know how many rounds I need for my foot, I'm going to be doing some math to make sure all my colors are even, etc. So I need to do all of that off camera when I can think about that, but that's my plan. So I've just completed a knit round, and now I'm going to go back to that increase round where I just knit 1, knit front and back, and knit to the last 2 stitches, and then I'll do knit front and back, knit one. I'll do that on both needles. So I'm going to work on this for a second while I answer questions and look at the comments, and then we'll check back in and see how it's looking, okay? If you have any questions, let me know, and I'm happy to answer. I haven't tried toe-up socks, but you make it look like fun. I'm going to give it a try. Yay, you definitely should. It's nice just to have that under your belt for sure. Knit front and back is actually one of my favorite stitches. How funny. It is kind of a fun stitch, isn't it? See, now I'm like, wait, oh, you know what I didn't show? Is how I know when I'm doing an increase round. So I just got to the last 2 stitches where I need to do an increase. And if you look at it here, see this bar? Sort of like a horizontal stitch. That's the last knit front and back I did, but this time there's a knit stitch on top of it. And that's how I know that I've done a knit round in between. So when I see this bar right up next to the needle, then I've already done an increased round and I just need to knit. But when I see this bar with a knit stitch on top of it, I've already done my knit round and I need to increase. That's how you can read your knitting with this. I got more confidence with toe-up socks using your toe-up sock tutorial. Now I do toe up a lot more. Oh, that's great, Natasha, that's awesome. I like to do a yarn over increase, then knit the yarn over in the back on the next round. Ooh, Amber, I like that idea. I bet that's very smooth too. So what Amber's saying is instead of doing a knit front and back, she'll do a yarn over, and of course if you just knit a yarn over, it will be a hole, it will be lace, so she knits it through the back on the next round. Great idea. Clarence says, I've used DK for socks. I go up a needle size, cast on fewer stitches. For example, I usually use a US 1 needle and 64 stitches with fingering weight, but use a US 2 and cast on 56 stitches with DK. Perfect. So with fingering weight yarn, how do you determine the number of stitches? So for any weight yarn, I mean, it's very similar. You can measure your foot, subtract an inch or inch and a half, and then use that measurement along with your gauge and like multiply. So 8 stitches per inch, multiply, you know, I need for me, I like a 7-inch circumference for my sock. So 8 stitches per inch times 7 would be like 56, but I really end up doing 60. They're a little loose. I could go down. So yeah, you gotta kind of use like gauge, but I would say typical fingering weight cast-ons are gonna be something like 60, 64, 68 stitches for women. Would it matter if you did make one left and make one right instead of knit front and back for the increases? No, that'd be totally fine. You can definitely do that. I just like doing this because I think it's a little bit faster than make one right and make one left. That's why I do it, because I'm a little bit lazy. But I'll show you what it looks like, because sometimes I'm picky about like mirroring my increases, like with a make one right and left, but I'll show you what this looks like, and this I don't think looks bad, which is why I like doing it. So I'll show you once I do a few more rounds. Have you ever tried the shadow wrap heel? I haven't, but I've heard that I need to try it because it's really similar to Fish Lips Kiss heel with a few like upgrades, so I'm very interested to try it. We'll try toe up soon. You make it look so easy. We'll refer back to the video for sure. Awesome. I'm so glad. Once again, if the tail is between the needles, we are at a new round. Okay, that was a question. So yes. So if your tail, this is for this cast on and this sock. May not be true universally. So if my tail is right here on this side between the needles, that means I've just completed the round. So now I'm on to a new fresh round. And it looks like I need to increase because I can see my increase bar is down here and I've got a knit stitch on top of it. So this is going to be an increase round for me. Yes, that's how. And again, when you're starting out, it's not a bad idea to like grab a removable stitch marker and clip it into the knitting. But with Magic Loop, you can't leave a stitch marker on the very end.
it would just fall off. It would just be like on your cord. You could put it one stitch from the end or something like that, but not on the very end. When I have used this cast on in the past, it seems like I have a row of purl bumps on the outside. Am I knitting on the wrong side? The purl bumps are only at the toe joint, possibly, Beth. You might not have flipped around your knitting to start working the other way, maybe? That's very interesting, because I would think that would be the only way that you could proceed forward, but that's very possible that that's what's happening. Or maybe you're wrapping it the opposite way, possibly. You'll have to watch through again on the cast on and see like where it's going differently for you. Great tips on how to read the knitting for increased rows. This has been a bit of a challenge for me in the past. We'll definitely try these tips for keeping increased rows straight. Yes. Kat says I use make one left and make one right for my increases. Perfect. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Long time shawl knitter, first time sock knitter. I think I'm going to try a fish lips kiss heel so I can do a contrasting heel with a bit more ease. Yeah, it's definitely easier. And I think it just looks so good. But I have loved, once Kay put out that video of how she just does the heel turn with a contrast color on the heel flap and gusset, I've seen a lot of people do it and it looks really good. It's very, very cute. Okay. Have you ever tried an anatomical toe? I just did my first one and it fits so much better. I haven't tried it, but I really do want to because I think I would like it as well. I think I would like that. I just am not like, I haven't stopped and tried it yet because I just like doing what I know how to do. I'm in a state where I'm like, I just want to do what I know how to do right now. I don't like toe up because of the little holes left from knit front and back. Is there a way to avoid that? Yeah, if you don't like the holes in knit front and back, I mean, it could just depend on how you're doing the knit front and back or just the way you knit. I don't really notice holes with mine, but if knit front and back is the issue, then I would just change the way you increase. We've got 2 people who already asked about doing a make one left and make one right, so maybe just try that. And then you wouldn't have to worry about the knit front and back or trying to figure out why it's making holes. You could just try a different increase, and I think that would be great. Hi, Lori. Is this another person saying they cast on their first toe up, but they did something wrong? They have a purl bump on the outside. That's super interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe it didn't get turned around? Carmen said, holy smokes, I cast on with the Judy's Magic cast on. Yay! Good job, Carmen. Everyone tell Carmen, great job. I may have missed this, but what is your preferred method for knitting socks? I'm in a cuff down mood right now. I like both, but I've been doing a lot of cuff down socks. I always use the German cast on, and I think I did that twist on half my stitches. Maybe that made the purl bumps on the outside of my toe. So you did a German twisted cast on instead of a Judy's Magic cast on? I'm not sure if you can use the German twisted cast on. Maybe, maybe. I usually use Judy's Magic cast on, although the Turkish cast on looks really great. Yeah, several people have mentioned that. That's something I haven't tried. So there's so many new to me things that I need to try for sure. I mean, there's like endless things. So if you try this Judy's Magic cast on, you're like, nope. I would encourage you first to try Judy's Magic cast on, but look at somebody else's tutorial, or even just go to the tutorial I have in my socks series, because it's a little more concise. And if it doesn't work, then try something else like the Turkish cast on. Like, it could just be that technique is just not the right one for you, or that I am not the right one to teach it to you. And that's perfectly okay. Sometimes you just gotta hear it a different way, or see it from somebody else, and it like all of a sudden will click, right? Hi, loving this live so far, very helpful. Oh, thank you. All right, I'm almost to, well, no, I'm not almost to where I'm done with the toe, but I've done quite a few increases, so I'm gonna show you how it looks, and we can explore maybe the holes that we're talking about. Maybe a second needle didn't stitch in the back loop. Yeah,
That still shouldn't cause a purl bump though. That would just cause like open stitches. So I'm not really sure. I am open to casting on one more time just to show it real quick. Let's see, I didn't use a German one, but I'm used to giving my cast on stitches a twist, so maybe that's my fault. Yeah, maybe don't give them a twist. Do you mean you twist them when you knit them, or you twist them as you're casting them on? Let's see, I've had issues with the stitch count for ribbing. I prefer 2x2 ribbing and decide I would rather do that than what the pattern was originally. Get to the end and end up with knits when it should be purls. So maybe it's your stitch count isn't divisible by 4. If you're having trouble with 2x2 ribbing and you're not getting like knit 2 purl 2 all the way around, your stitch count might not be divisible by 4. It must be for 2x2 ribbing. Yep. So that's why it's like kind of tricky when you do like, I don't know, what is it? Most like sock cast-ons are in multiples of 4, and that's why. Also because you increase and decrease in multiples of 4. So it works out for most kinds of ribbing and everything. Okay, so here's what we're looking at so far. I'm not done, but I've done enough now that you can start to see things developing like an actual toe. So this is why we do the Judy's Magic cast on, because it creates this seamless, smooth, connected cast on right here on the toe. And then here's what those knit front and backs look like. To me, they look really similar on both sides, so they don't bother me at all. You can see like the little bars, and then here on the other side too. But I don't get holes from my knit front and back, so I'm wondering why. Maybe if I kind of look at it like this, there's like little tiny holes, but I don't know, that doesn't bother me. So that's what it looks like. And then you just keep going. And so for my sock, my color palette sock, let me look, I kind of forget what I'm doing. My color palette sock, what am I doing here? I think I'm going to be, I had it up, but then when I had to plug in my computer, I had to disconnect my monitor. So 1 second here. All right, so I'm gonna do the toe, and then I'm gonna do with the same color some twisted rib, and then I will go into the colors. So I think I'm gonna do, I've got 6 colors. I think I'll do 3 in the foot and the other 3 in the leg. So in just a second, I would love your help in picking my color order. I think that'd be really fun to pick that out together. All right, let me see what I missed here. 1 second. Okay. Have you ever done a gusset toe up? I'd love to try toe up, but I don't think I'd fit into socks without a gusset. I haven't because I'm not a fan of doing the gusset, but I know it's possible. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Does anyone know what the patterns are with the toe up, heel flap, and gusset? It is pretty cool because I'm pretty sure you don't have to pick up stitches. It's more of like you increase a lot of stitches and then you decrease them and it creates this gusset. But it's definitely possible, so don't give up on toe up socks. Like I said last night during the shiver, I learned how to knit 2 at a time, toe up using Judy's Magic Cast On. It's ingrained in my brain. I like learning new things though. Yeah, that's awesome. I was telling people, Lori, how you said that was it toe up socks, you like to do 2 at a time magic loop, but for cuff down, you will do 2 at a time, 2 circulars. Because I think that's interesting. It's so fun to hear about how like certain techniques and combinations are different, easier, harder, or just better for people. I really need to learn how to do magic loop. Yes, yeah, magic loop is great. It's wonderful. Natalie and Toaster for the win on Tuesday. I know, little toaster over there. Sounds like they pulled out the wrong needle to start the first round. That's why you would get purl stitches on the first round. Yeah, it's possible. I think I'll show it again real quick. Hi, I'm 68, never made socks but watching you. I ordered yarn yesterday to have a go. Wish me luck. Good luck, Beth. You got this. There's lots of resources on the internet, so we're here to help. Finally learned toe up last week with the Turkish cast on from Marley Bird on YouTube. Yay, that's awesome. I twist them while casting on. I'm trying again without that twist. Okay, give it a try, give it a try. I've been having big issues with laddering when I'm in Magic Loop and can't work out how to fix it. Any advice? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, Toaster. You relaxed over there, buddy? Oof. My gosh. Good thing that this is just TV. Okay, let's talk about Magic Loop and laddering. All right, so this is a tip for any type of Magic Loop. We're going to talk about the ladders that can be in between the needles. So when you're trying to prevent ladders, I do this all the time so that I don't have ladders. You want to think about the second stitch, not the first stitch. So just knit your first stitch and don't worry about anything. You don't need to pull tight here or anything like that. After you've knit your first stitch, dive that needle into the second one and then give your yarn an extra tug, okay? That's gonna close up that gap. But the reason you do it on the second stitch is because I'm gonna tug and then keep that tension while I knit the second stitch. And that way what I just did is anchored. If I pull tight on the first stitch, as soon as I move my finger to knit this, to go into the second stitch and knit it, I lose that tension. So that's why we do it on the second stitch. So let me show that one more time. But that will help a lot with laddering. There are other things you can do, but they require a lot more effort. And this one is very easy. Oh, wait a second. I just realized I forgot to do an increase. Back, 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 back. Hold on. I don't want to go too far past it because then I know I would forget. Okay, so I'm back on my first stitch anyway. Pull tight, knit front and back, and now we go across, and then I'll show it one more time. Let's see. Purl Together has a great video for Turkish cast on for toe up socks. Awesome. That yarn looks stunning up close. I know, it's like it's a gray, but it's a tonal, so it has all that pretty, you know, subtle striations in it. It's gorgeous. Moonglow Yarn Company. Oh, and if you look at Moonglow's Instagram, there's something special coming. She just announced it today. It's really exciting. All right, let's talk about that Magic Loop ladder technique one more time. I'm guessing this could be helpful for double pointed needles as you switch needles. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna knit my first stitch without really doing much of anything. And as I go into my second stitch, I give an extra pull, hold on to that tension as I knit the second stitch, and that will, again, I'm supposed to do an increase, whoops, and that will help with the ladders, okay? Extra pull, and then I just keep going. All right, hopefully that will help. Let's see, what did I miss? Okay, that makes sense. I will pay attention to be divisible by 4. Yes, that will help with the 2x2 ribbing for sure. I just realized I was so excited to be making process, I jumped ahead to picking up stitches and forgot to turn my heel. Oh no, darn it. Darn it. Oh, are you back on track, Rachel? Did you pull out those picked up stitches? Lori said you can do a yarn over for the increase and then on the next row knit through the back loop. It closes the increase hole and you don't see it. I find it easier than knit front and back or a lifted increase. Perfect. I think that's a great idea. Lisa asked, what pattern did you say you're using? I'm going to use the Color Palette socks. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, but I'm going to be making modifications because it's a cuff down pattern. There's like 7 stripes in it, and I'm only going to do 6 with my 6 colors. So I'll make sure to keep track of all that I'm doing on Ravelry. This project on Ravelry is already up,
doesn't have a picture yet, but I might be able to add that today. I've taken the picture, but I've already put like my numbers in there. So starting with 24, increasing to 48, all of that's on there. I just need to change it to the color palette socks. Right now it just says Fish Lips Kiss Heel. Okay, I've done a toe up gusset before. Let me try to find the pattern I used. Perfect. I believe Very Pink Knits has a video of toe up socks with a gusset. Perfect. Somebody was looking for that. And then Olivia said the Flawless Socks by Beatrice Rubio. Somebody else said Brazen Glen Socks by Liz Cork. So there you go. Those are some suggestions. Autumn and Poppy has a cute toe up heel flap gusset sock patterns. There's one called Vanilla Sock with Gusset and Choice of Heel that was free on Ravelry. That's great. I don't know of any patterns, but I just do the gusset for toe up exactly the same as cuff down, except without the slip one, knit one on the heel flap. Wow, okay. Tried it again, still like that with a purl bump. We'll try again and make sure to pull out the right needle. Okay, we're gonna figure that out right now, why that is happening. So clear off your needles if you wanna try it again with me. Because I've got a second ball of yarn, and I do have some other needles here. Where did I put them? Well, hold on. I did have some other needles. Are they in here? What's all this? Yeah, let me just pull out some of these. This won't be the size 2 needle, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to take it out afterwards anyway. This is how I like to keep my needles. These are all the same size. I curl them up together. I have a lot of them. All right. Let's do it again. Okay. Measure out from fingertip to elbow. And here we go. You ready? Let's see what's happening with the purl bump here. Okay. Take your yarn and loop it on the back needle. Let the tail come to the front. Let the yarn from the ball go to the back, but make sure it's twisting, okay? All right, now, here we go. Opposites attract, bottom needle to top yarn, go over the top, let it fall in between, top needle to bottom yarn, let it go underneath and in between. Keep going. Over the top, in between, underneath, in between. Opposites attract, just like that. Okay, here's another tip. If you ever stop and you're like, ooh, which needle am I supposed to do next? Look at whichever needle has fewer stitches. So here my top needle has 4 and my bottom has 3. So I know I need to do the bottom needle next to make them even. Bottom needle next. And opposites attract, bottom needle to top yarn. All right, keep going. And away we go. We'll do 24 again. 5, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. So once you're done here, I'm wondering if this might be the part where we're getting the purl bump on the outside, okay? So I'm going to flip the entire thing over, all right? And here's my purl bumps now. Well, there they are. There's my purl bumps. This is the inside of my sock. If you pull out the front needle, which might be what's happening, you might be getting your purl bumps down, and then if you put your purl bumps down and then you pull out this needle, your purl bumps are going to be on the outside, okay? So let's get purl bumps up, okay? They're up, and we're going to pull out this back needle so that when we knit, we're really looking at that side, all right? I think that's why your purl bumps are ending up on the outside. So purl bumps up, we're going to pull out the back needle, but first we need to get our tail, flip it up and over our working yarn so that they twist. Working yarn and
tail need to twist, okay? Or else we're gonna lose that stitch. Okay, purl bumps facing up, pull out the back needle, purl bumps still facing up, and as I turn to actually work, now I don't see my purl bumps. You don't wanna see the purl bumps when you're actually knitting, okay? Or else they will end up on the outside. Okay, so as I knit this first round, no purl bumps on the outside, purl bumps are on the back, all right? Hopefully that will help resolve your problem. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let me know if you're able to work that and try it. I want to know. Turkish cast on is so easy. Andrea Mowry has a great tutorial. Wonderful. Oh, we don't want you in here, person. Let's block you. Oh wait, I can't do that on here. 1 second, let me go to YouTube because we don't want this person trying to spam us. Goodbye. Report. Haha. Okay, sorry about that. Spammer people, we don't need ya. All right, back to where we were. I want to thank you for the tutorial on making toe-up socks. Oh, you're welcome. You've made 3 pairs so far, Denise, that's amazing. What was Toaster doing? What was Toaster doing? I stopped paying attention to him in my camera when I was paying attention to the knitting. Good morning. How do you know where to place the heel in a toe-up sock? Will you be explaining that later in this live? It's what's made me scared of toe-up. Ooh, that's a really, really good question. So you're not gonna like my answer because the way I know where to place a heel in my toe-up sock is from first knitting cuff down socks and counting my rounds. So since I use the same heel for both methods and essentially the same toe, just in opposite ways, I can use the same number of rounds. So if I knit my cuff down sock, I try it on, I make sure it fits, I know it's 65 rounds. Now I know I can do the same for a toe-up sock, and that's how I know. You could definitely measure, if you measure your total foot length and subtract, maybe 3.5 to 4 inches. No. That's for the toe and heel. So if you subtract maybe 1.5 to 2 inches from your total foot length, that should be where you can stop. So toe and foot, 1.5 to 2 inches short of your total foot length. Should be really close to where to put in the heel. Really close. And then after you make a couple socks, you kind of just adjust it, round by round. Cute nails today. Thank you. I'm loving these. They're going to be perfect for our tropical vacation next week, and I thought they were fun and bright. Let's see. I don't remember who I learned it from when I first started knitting socks, but I was told to pull something tight can also make laddering worse. Oh, interesting. Maybe so. You finally made a live. Welcome, Janet. If you're doing a short row heel, like a German short row, you will want to start at 1.5 inches before the entire length of your foot. Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. So yes, 1.5 inches to 2 inches should be perfect. Hi from Norway. Started my first pair of toe-up socks yesterday with my own false braid pattern on the foot. Ooh, so much fun. Also a bit unsure about the heel. Yeah, can be tricky. You did it! No purl bump, you pulled out the wrong needle. Yeah! We solved it, we did it. Together we did it. And you know what? I'm really glad you asked that because now there might be people who are doing the same thing. And since that's not something that I've thought about, I would never have showed it. So I'm really, really glad you asked that. Bye for now, I have to go to work. I will finish watching tonight after work. Oh, of course. Thank you again for the tutorial, of course. Let's see, that's what I'm doing. I used 2 needles and that's what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so we solved it for 2 people, right? Yay! I took out my sock to knit on the bus yesterday and noticed the gauge was slightly off. How do you maintain an even gauge on a bumpy bus ride? Okay, so that's so funny that you say that. I realized that I can't crochet in the car because the car has just enough bump that I'm like
trying to get my crochet hook into the stitches, and I'm like keep missing or splitting stitches. So I've kind of realized that for me, I like to knit in the car because I can kind of like move both hands. Like I guess I've just like adjusted to it knitting in the car so much that like both hands are kind of bumping with it so that it's easier for me to get my stitches. I don't know. I guess I don't really have a tip for that. It's tricky, right? Oh, hey, Esther from Germany. So glad you're here. It looks like I will be replaying this video a lot. So many great ideas. Oh, I'm so glad you're finding it. Oh, somebody else is speaking to Esther in German. I love it. I love it. Roxana said 4 to 4.25 from the heel to start, increases for heel flap and gusset. Yes, okay, true. So if you're doing a short row heel, 1.5 to 2 inches short of your total foot length is where you want to start the heel. But if you're doing a heel flap and gusset toe up, you're going to have to start a lot earlier. So thank you, Roxana. Yes, I forgot about that. I picked some color work and cables to do sock patterns. Ooh. Yanking the first stitch instead of the second can make laddering worse. Oh, okay. So the second stitch is good then, huh? It all just depends. Some people pull every single stitch that they knit. And so if you can break that habit, that will help your knitting a lot because you won't have such tight stitches and it's a lot of extra effort too. Okay, last thing I want to do today is I would love some help picking out my color order, if you don't mind giving me your opinion. So the color palette socks, let me get my phone out again. I think I can show that way. And I will show you what they look like. Hang on. So my plan here was so many, darn it, I keep spelling this wrong, with so many different colors that I'm gonna be doing. I wanna be able to knit over the ends. So I'm gonna make sure when I join my colors in that it's on the top of the foot so that I can do my knitting over my ends technique. And that way I won't have to weave in so many ends with all these color changes. Okay, so here's the pattern. It's called Color Palette Socks by Laura Moratz, and it is a free pattern. It shouldn't be. She should be charging for this pattern, but it is a free pattern, which is lovely. And so you can see that there are 4 colors in her foot and 3 in the leg. There's a heel flap and gusset, and it's a different kind of toe too. So basically I'm just taking the idea of doing color blocking, and then in between here is twisted rib. It's really pretty and it's in the main color. So I'm gonna take that idea and I'm just gonna reverse engineer it, and I'm gonna do toe up with my own fish lips kiss heel, it's not my pattern, with my fish lips kiss heel and everything. But other than that, I'm going to pretty much copy the pattern, okay? So mine will be gray, 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 and gray in between. And then I've got these beautiful colors from Moon Glow Yarn Company. I've started winding them up, so some of them are in baby cakes and some of them are not. Camera. Well, I guess it's not going to focus because they're far away. But there we go. But these are my 6 colors. So I would like to do 3 on the foot, 3 on the leg, and I am going to try to do them evenly. I'm going to have to really pay attention in the first sock, like to make sure these are each 10 grams, that I only use 5 grams of each. So what I'd like your help with is determining the order, okay? Oh, how do you twist your needles like that to store them? I will show that to you in just a minute after we pick my colors, if that's okay. I will show you how I do that. Yours are a hot mess. I know. It's hard to store needles. Thanks for the tutorial that I didn't know I wanted to learn. For me, it's dinner time. Have lots of fun. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad we got that all figured out. Okay, so color order. So I'm going to be doing the toe and then going into foot colors and then leg colors. So what order, I have a picture of how this was bundled in there, which looked really pretty. That might actually be what I should go off of. But anyone have any thoughts on color order here? Okay, so in the bundle, it was like coral pink, green,
And then here, I'll put that in order. It was like this, green, teal, blue, purple. Okay. That was the color order in the bundle. Should I go with that? Should I do like foot, leg, or should I mix things up a little bit? That is pretty. I mean, it's gorgeous. It doesn't really like, it's gonna be amazing, right? Anyway, this is kind of rainbowy, rainbow-esque, if you will. I think you should do the pinks in yellow for the leg and the purple, blue, and green on the foot. Okay, so like if I'm thinking like foot down here, right? So like toe, well, here we go, you can't see me. Toe, foot, 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 leg, leg, leg. Is that what you're thinking? From the toe, purple, blue, green, yellow. Okay, so I think we're agreeing on the color order, right? Which is exactly how it was bundled in the skein. So that's great, actually. You would alternate warm and cool. Okay, let's see what that would look like. Alternate warm and cool. I think use the pink towards the cuff so you can see it when you're wearing them. I know you love pink. That's a great idea. That's a really great idea. So if you alternate warm and cool, are these the warm and the cool colors? These are definitely cool, wouldn't you say? Why is this so difficult for me? Like that? I think I like the rainbow better. I think I like this. Yeah? I think I like that. So, okay, let me see what you are saying. Roy G. Bibb, I like how it came. Yes, I would reverse it. Okay, bundle order. Darker colors on the foot. Okay, so this could be the foot then, and then this could be the leg. That's great. Oh, I would flip-flop the order for each sock so they're different. Okay, Stacy. What happens if you put the peach on the top of the orange? Like that. That's pretty too. That's pretty too. Light pink, dark pink, purple, green. I would go darker to lighter. You like this? Are we liking that? Much pink. Light or dark to start? Blues on the foot, pinks on the top since you love pink more. Yeah, good idea. Both look beautiful. Interesting. I'm going in order of my yarn came in, which has lighter pink before darker pink. Yes, it does. I think the lighter colors on the cuff and darker on the foot. Yeah. Red next to purple. Yeah, it's looking very red on the screen. It's actually a lighter, like a corally pink color. You like the light on the top. You're dyeing more shark sets today. Yay! Moonglow Yarn Co. is here. She dyed this yarn. You like the light on the top. Okay, wonderful. I better take a picture of this so that I don't forget. Because I will forget. All right, let me show you how I bundle up my needles, and then we will wrap up for today. So if you have any questions that I didn't get to, it's probably because I just didn't see them. So will you please put them again here? That would be super helpful, and I will certainly answer them. Okay, so let me get my needles here. All right. So the way that I get all my needles nicely together, let me show you first how I twist them with one needle. So the way that you do this, see how like when you set a needle down, it likes to curl like this. We're just gonna kind of mimic that, but we're gonna make it do like an extra twist here, okay? So grab your two needle tips, and then with one, I use my right hand, I start to curl it, and I hold it in this hand. I do it around twice, okay? And then I take the right hand needle, the one I've been moving, and I go underneath and through the center. And then the left hand needle, I go on top and through the center. One more time, because I know that's a little crazy. Okay, so grab both needle tips here, and we're gonna wrap around once, around twice. With one needle tip, we go under and through the center. With the other needle tip, we go over the top and through the center, okay? So when I do all my needles together, I basically just stack them and do the same thing. So I've got 4 needles here. I put them all together, I even up the needle tips, and then I run my hand along the cord so that they're all together and not super crazy. And then I do the same thing. It's just a little crazier. 1, 2, all of them under, all of them over. And then that's how I put them away. So much nicer. So much nicer. All right. Let's see. Enjoyed this so much. Good. It's brighter than you go for, but you're loving it. I know, isn't it so fun? Any chance there's a giveaway for today? Oh, I didn't plan anything for today. That's actually on my list, is to go through everything and get all the giveaways sorted out, because I've got so many different things. So hang tight, they're coming. Your moon glow is on the way, woohoo! Does the Fish Lips Kiss heel work for an odd number of stitches? The pattern I'm using, you have 35 stitches for the heel flap. Yes, actually it should work out fine for an odd number of stitches. So if you own the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern, you'll see that you're gonna have these things called twin stitches on either side. So make sure your twin stitches are both the same, like 10 and 10, and then your stitches that you leave unworked in the center, have that be where the odd number is. So you might have like 10, 10, and 11 in the middle, okay? That should totally work. Actually, if you have 35 stitches for the heel flap, you will have, hold on, let me do the math. 35 minus 2 is 30, 30. You will probably want to do 11 twin stitches on either side, 11, 11, which is 22, 24. So you will probably have 11 twin stitches on either side, 11 left in the middle, and then one each on the outside. Okay. Will you be doing a tutorial with the color changes weaved in on the top of the foot when you're making these socks? I have a tutorial already for how I knit over my ends, and I'll be using the same technique. So I'll make sure to link that tutorial in the description box of this video. But yeah, I have a tutorial on how to knit over ends. But I might show it on Instagram like a little bit, for sure. How do you avoid jogs when color changing yarn? So you can do this technique. I learned it from Very Pink Knits, where after you've knit the first round of a new color, when you go to knit the first stitch, second round of the new color, you pick up the old color and like bring it up on the needle and knit 2 together. Gosh, let me try to show that real quick. Actually, how long have we been going? Oh, that's weird. My stream just started over. I hope that doesn't affect the video. I think I've been going for too long. Okay, why not? We're here, let's just do it. Okay, so here's the 2 things. Knitting over the ends, knitting over your ends, and jog. Why not? We're here, let's do it. Okay, so let me get my tail out of the way. I like to tuck him into the pocket that the toe made. All right, so I'm gonna join in a new color. I'm gonna take this out later because this is not where I'm done with the toe, but we're just gonna pretend. Okay, so I'm adding in my new color. And then the way that you knit over the end is you basically take this end into your left hand like you're gonna knit continental, and then I'm holding the working yarn in my right hand, okay? Go into your stitch, let the tail go over the top of your needle, and then we're just gonna knit, basically ignoring that. What that does is it catches your tail yarn, the end we're weaving in. For the next stitch, we just knit regularly, doing nothing special, and that is also going to catch your tail. And then we alternate those two things. So go into the stitch, throw the tail yarn over, and then just knit, pulling only through your stitch, not the tail yarn, and then knit a stitch regularly. Knit a stitch where you throw the tail over, knit a stitch regularly. And I've got a whole tutorial that just covers this. Knit a stitch with the tail, knit a stitch regularly. Gosh, I love this color, Whitney. What that does is it will weave your tail along the color change with minimal effort and no threading your yarn. Wonderful, right? And then after I do that, I would do it for a little longer. I just let it go. So let me get back around to this and I'll show you what I'm gonna do to avoid a jog. Hopefully this is helpful and hopefully everyone's still here and this didn't separate into a new video because my countdown just started over. Oh no. Hey, it's all an experiment, right? Okay. Actually, I guess I can check on YouTube. Nobody said it went away, right? Okay, it's still live, good. Oh, it started streaming less than a minute ago. So I wonder if I'll have 2 videos. Well, now we know that the limit is an hour and a half, huh? Okay. All right. Here we go, here we go. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad if all that stuff from the beginning is gone. We'll just have to see. All right, let's get to the jog. So, as you approach the second round of your new color, we can do something to ease up on the jog, which is basically like a stair step. Because all knitting is a spiral, it's not like a straight around connection, it's a spiral. So as you move it up to the next level or layer, it's going to be going on top of your stitches. So the way that I would do this is we're going to take the last gray stitch. I'm going to grab with my needle the right leg of the gray stitch, lift it onto my left hand needle. So now I've got a gray and a teal, and I'm going to knit them together for the second round of my teal. And this helps with that color jog and makes things smooth. And so then when I go into my next color after the teal, I'll do the same thing. And you really can't tell right now, but as you move on, you'll be able to see that it makes it look much more even to have that color brought up. So that's how you can deal with the jog. Yes. Okay, now let's wrap things up. Let's see. I'm loving this week and I'm making my second sock ever. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your help today. You're welcome. I wrapped my 2.25 millimeter like that and Kaden wanted to help, so he tugged so hard on them and they're still creased. Oh no, I wonder if you could like steam them in some hot water or something. Thanks so much for this live. I enjoyed every minute. Good. I like doing the weave and Steven to my ends. Yeah, that's a great one too. So many tips and tricks. I love it. I appreciate it, Natalie. Thanks for sharing your techniques. You're so welcome. You're still here. Good, good, good. Thank you for teaching us this. I've always been bugged by how loose it is when you join the yarn. Yeah. I'm still on the same video. Didn't notice a change. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens now when I try to post it. Cross all of your fingers and toes that everything is still here. That's incredible. I could have definitely used that for my scrappy rainbow socks. Oh wow, we made it so long without a siren and now I hear one. Let's see, I was watching on my TV and it stopped, seemed to be searching for internet. I just thought it was my own issue, so I kept watching on my phone, which never stopped. Okay, interesting, very interesting. You were so awesome, thank you. Oh, that's really sweet. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and close this
out if there are no more questions. Thank you all so much for being here today. We are going to be live again on Thursday. And Thursday, I'm going to be doing a live podcast. So no tutorials or anything, just a podcast. I'm going to show you all my projects and all my socks and some other fun things. So definitely come and join in 1 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. This is a fun way to spend a Tuesday morning. I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you so much. All right. Oh, bye, Alize. It was so good to see you.